Tour Junkies.
What is up, golf addicts? Welcome to the Tour Junkies show. And guess what, DB? We still don't have a name.
I thought we did.
No. While you were gone, we thought we were going to have a name, but we didn't. And so now you're back from your extravagant vacation into the mountains of heavenly of Tahoe, which I'm sure was a fantastic time for you, celebrating your month and a half long 40th birthday. But anyway, welcome.
You turned 40?
Okay, listen, shut up. Now it's evolved from a month, which is extremely. I mean, you guys are libeling me right now. I could sue both of you, and now it's extended to a month and a half. It's not been any of that.
Well, we went a few more days from where I said it was a month, so I just went ahead. It's like, bankers like to round up, things like that. So I just rounded up a little bit to a month and a half. But anyway, DB, I'll let you take over here in a little bit. I know you like to start the show. You might be a little bit uncomfortable here.
I love this. No,
we have some great topics today to talk about. I think I'm actually. These are the best topics I think we've had so far, and we've had some good ones. But I'm pretty excited about what we have. DB, who are we brought to by? BTN Golf, maybe? Bet the number?
Who are we brought to by?
Okay, now it's DB's turn to take over.
We are brought to by my friends at Swannies. The Swannies fam. You know what I mean, huh?
Yeah.
This stuff, dude. Pat's is on the way. We had a little delay getting Pat's swag to him, but our friends at Swannies, we love them. They're great. We've been telling you about them for a couple of weeks now. We met this group of wild bunch back in like 2016, 2017 at the PGA show, which is also going on right now. We might talk about that later. But yeah, promo code TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire order, and you can use it over and over again on the Swannies website, swannies.co. Link is in the description of the podcast and YouTube channel. I love those guys. Support them. Great golf apparel for men, but also great junior apparel and women's apparel. So if you got a golfing family, it's a perfect website for everybody, So yeah. Swannies.co, code TJ25, 25% off.
Can't wait to get my swag. By the way, we did not plan this, DB, but I am wearing my North Berwick West Links hat, and you've got the hoodie on. So
yes, gotta love it. It's one of my favorite hoodies.
We're simpatico.
Yeah,
today.
I feel like every time you wear that hat, I'm wearing this.
I know.
I think it just happens. It's in nature.
Yeah, agree.
I am also excited about today's show, Tony and Pat. It's a good lineup here. You know what I did today? I'm doing something different. I would never do this on the main show. Maybe I would. And I'm surprised neither one of you have said anything about it. But
are you sitting down?
No.
Okay.
I'm chewing gum.
Now, did you forget that you had the gum in your mouth, or you did that on purpose?
I intentionally put it in my mouth because do you ever feel like gum helps you like kind of think a little bit better? Do you feel like you do good thinking on gum?
I haven't thought about that.
I feel like if my mouth is working on it, and like I'm kind of it kind of gets me in there. You know what I mean? It kind of gets my brain in there.
Are you sure that's not nicotine gum?
It's not. It's not nicotine gum. It's not a Zyn. It's not. I don't do nicotine. But no, it's just regular gum, and I feel like I could possibly, as a result of the gum, have some good takes today. So hopefully it's not annoying to the listener. I'm trying not to chew it in the mic, but if it helps with the takes, if it helps with the content, I think it's worth it.
Well, you do you. We say that all the time.
Pete Carroll does the gum thing.
He does.
That's
a good point.
He does a good job. I mean, despite him getting fired, he's a good coach. He's been a good coach for a long time. So,
you know what an underrated gum is? Gator gum or the Gatorade gum. They call it thirst quencher gum now. Now the taste goes away quickly, but it's really good.
I've never had that. I've never even seen. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You got to go to Dick's. It's at Dick's. It's on the checkout line.
Okay.
No free ads. All right, we'll go.
Remember that Phil Tiger gum that they were pushing at the Masters a few years ago? That I don't think anything came of that.
Now, was that like weed gum?
They were both chewing it.
They were both chewing it.
Such thing as weed gum?
It was. I think Phil was hinting that it was like a CBD type gum.
I remember that with Phil. I don't remember it with Tiger.
I thought maybe he didn't come out and say that he was like a part of it or doing it as well, but he was chewing gum. It was like a story for a day, and the millions of stories.
I remember that
Masters
Mhm.
week. Yeah,
I do
it was
too.
Phil and Tiger both were chewing gum on the driving range, chewing gum on the putting green.
Gum for wellness.
Yeah,
I mean, if they make nicotine gum, surely they can make THC gum.
I'm sure, 100%.
Okay, we'll look into that. Maybe we can get a sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, fellas, jumping into the show here. We are going to start off with some live golf. We've got many new rumors. We've got a possible confirmation as of a couple days ago with Adrian Meronk heading over to live golf. Even as of this morning, we got Terrell Hatton, who has unofficially maybe joined live golf now. All kinds of rumors surrounding John Rahm's team and who isn't joining those. Who isn't even going to be in the league anymore with all these new signings over the past few weeks, who's getting relegated, who's not. So I wanted to ask you guys, Pat, we'll start off with you, not just about live golf, because that's been talked about ad nauseum over the past few years, it seems like, but these guys who are jumping ship, and I'll throw that in quotation marks here, jumping ship from the PGA Tour over to live golf. Adrian Meronk was in the Farmers Open field and withdrew Wednesday morning, a couple hours before the event. And then it was announced that he signed. Terrell Hatton had just announced that he can't wait to play Waste Management next week or in a couple weeks. And now those rumors are continually heating up. So do these announcements, do these guys who are going over there, do they still carry the same weight as maybe 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, now that the PIF deal and with the PGA Tour is somewhat close, and I use somewhat as a relative term, that eventually those two entities will come together with Newco Inc. And does that carry any weight?
I mean, I think it does still, and the reason is because right now, until we have any sort of clarity on what this agreement is even going to look like, which I don't think we really even have a clue, there is a little bit of weight. It's just like when John Rahm jumped, there was a huge deal, right? And this is kind of little like trimmers after that with somebody like a Meronk or a Hatton, not as big of a deal as far as, a golfer like Rahm. Now, I would say Hatton would be a pretty decent deal, not so much with Meronk, but still, I do think it just adds more to the legitimacy of it. It adds more to, the fact that, these guys are, they like what LIV is offering, obviously from a monetary standpoint. And I don't know. I mean, I just don't think they are probably. I mean, I don't know what the tour is going to do as far as this deal, but I just don't know if they're going to get the best of both worlds. Like, I don't know if they're going to get a ton of money, and then all of a sudden, they can just play on both tours, and it's like nothing ever happened. Like, there's no way that LIV is offering this money without some sort of knowledge that there's still going to be some separation between these two tours down the line.
I mean, I think you could be right there. I tell you what, man, the LIV thing is starting to. If you look at the roster, right now and add in Meronk, because they don't have the roster update, the site updated yet. It's not official. You add in Meronk, you drop in some garbage player. The 48 players on LIV obviously look a lot better than they did a year ago. The fact that they are pushing out some of these scrubs that were in there, no more Sawan Kim, no more James Piot or whatever he was. Like, the fact that they're pushing those guys out and refilling them with guys like Meronk, even though I know Meronk's not a needle mover, but it adds depth and it adds competitive, I don't know, if, like, lack of a better word, like integrity or increase to LIV. To me, it's very interesting. Like, the more, now that they've got big dogs. I mean, you got DJ, Brooks, Bryson, Rahm, Cam, like, you got big studs at the top. Arguably, as many as the PGA Tour does. The top 5 players that LIV and the top 5 players on the PGA Tour are not much different. So now when you start adding these depth pieces and you start pushing the garbage guys out, and the middle of the LIV roster looks better and better, I think it's compelling. Hatton, to me, is a decent loss for the tour. Not because necessarily he's a great player. I know he's never won a major, all this stuff, which we can talk about that. Like, I don't know if he should jump before that, but depends on how much money he's made. He's an entertainer. Like, the tour has lost their entertainers. They've lost their showmen. They've lost the controversial figures, the Sergios, the Phils, the Reeds, the Brysons, the Brooks. Like, they've lost those guys. And Hatton is really like the one guy. Who else is it on the PGA Tour that like shows something that gets talked about, or that gets buzz, or that gets attention, or that gets laughter, or that get whatever. Like if they lose Hatton, which it sounds like that deal is kind of wavering. I mean, he literally tweeted out a schedule, I think today, all the way up through Genesis or one of the Florida events. Like, I think the Hatton loss sucks from like a viewing standpoint, and the tour just continuing to lose its characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree from a viewing standpoint for sure to lose your characters like that. I guess though, if you like the point though that I'm kind of wondering is like, and that Tony's kind of asking is like, does it really matter because they may come together again? But don't like. I just don't think these tours are necessarily gonna just automatically go back together and everything is gonna be fine. I mean, there's no way they would just have these announcements and pay all this money. So I guess it still brings up about the question that is the $1 million question, or millions of dollar question, is what this is going to look like when the deal finally does get done. And I don't know. I still don't know. I have no clue.
It better get done soon. I saw something swirling around on Twitter today that it seems like it's close. I really, I think Mark Hubbard's brother tweeted out something that said, like, if you look towards Ponte Vedra at tour headquarters, you can see the smoke coming out of the building, like at all hours of the night, that they're all in there trying to figure this out, working on it. Obviously he's probably a well-informed source, with his brother being Mark. I am so ready for a deal to be done. Like, I don't want to be still guessing at this crap at the Players, at Augusta. I'm ready for it to be done. I could totally see it being a transitional kind of thing where it might take a year or two before things fully get to where they want it to be. But I agree, Pat. I think LIV is going to be a league.
Yeah.
In the landscape of golf, the format, the brand is going to live on. No pun intended, but it's going to live on. But there will be crossover opportunity. That's what I think is going to happen. We're all ready to see it. We're all just over this whole thing. I think, a slight change of subject here. I think it's interesting. Nick Dunlap, who won last week, the amateur, and then dropped out of the Farmers, and everybody's like, okay, here we go. Now he's committed to Pebble Beach. So he's playing Pebble Beach, signature event, obviously, as he probably should. But it is interesting to note that, Pat and I got from a credible source that, his agency is the #1 agency that has recruited and brought over players to LIV. The same agency that represents Dunlap. It would not surprise me if he took that and ran with it. But now he might take a little bit of time to make that decision, or LIV maybe working on Moronk and Hatton before they want to really get to the young guy that just, won the Amex. But if the deal is right and the options are on the table, it wouldn't shock me if Dunlap leaves shortly after he plays a couple of PGA Tour events either. But we'll see. I mean, Dunlap doesn't move the needle at all, even though he's a hot story at the moment. But he's not going to move the needle if LIV. So I don't know what LIV would actually pay the guy. And he's into all the majors and the signature events at this point. So he's got obviously a potential to win a lot of money there too. Still.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I've heard that. His agency has, Bryson, Sergio, Mito, Brendan Grace. I mean, all of these guys. I mean,
golly, man.
So
you just said like Mito Pereira has not come out of my mouth in months, or like in my brain. But
I know it's that kind of sucks too, because I kind of like talking about.
I know that's what I was just thinking. Like when you said that name, a little synapse fired in my brain, and I remembered who he was. And dang, dude, like me, I do kind of miss Mito.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to talk about him a little bit when we do some major shows. But
I was gonna say this is a good teaser because next week I'm doing a LIV show. Next week,
okay.
The first LIV event is Maya Koba. Our friend Charles Howell is defending. I don't know if I'm doing it solo or not, but I'm doing a LIV betting show. It might be short, but I'm going to do a LIV betting show for Maya Koba. So I'll be talking about Mito then.
Good. All right.
You're welcome to join me, Pat, if you want.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, I may want to join you.
Okay.
Come on, Pat. Yeah. The water's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, even adding on to that a little bit, I know your boy Tommy Ladd, Nikolai Højgaard, they've recently turned down, reportedly, offers in the tens of millions. I wonder what an offer for Nick Dunlap would look like, considering a couple of those guys have gone over there who are AM champs, who haven't, just out of college, all that kind of stuff. I can't imagine it's a tens of millions of dollar deal, but then again, you throw a few $1,000,000, I feel like at a college kid, that might be something to entice them to.
Yeah, but he's got signature events on tour that are no cut events. That, yes, the field is larger, but he's still playing for what are the signature event purses? $20 million something dollars. He's still playing for a lot of money in those. His sponsorship opportunities, I would guess, because I mean, we are seeing a lot. We are starting to see a shift in sponsorship stuff too at LIV. Like, you're having more of these sponsors either hang on or re-up or increase their appearance on LIV players, or you have new ones coming. So I think the sponsorship waters are starting to warm at LIV as well. But I do think that today, and probably for the next 12 months, he might have more opportunity with sponsors on the PGA Tour, playing in all these signature events and all these majors. Whereas if he goes to LIV, he's not doing that. So I don't really know. I think his offer to jump the ship and go to LIV would probably have to be, I would think, at least 20.
Probably more.
Considering all the money he's playing for, at least 20. And even at 20, I don't know that that's enough, which sounds crazy to think. Like, I don't think he's worth 20. I don't, for LIV. But again, considering you're guaranteed in all the majors, you're guaranteed in all the signature events this year, you're playing for a ton of money in those events, plus a sponsorship opportunity. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I just thought about it right now. Maybe the gum's not working, but
I just thought about how easy whatever this firm is that he's going to, how easy these agents' job is. I mean, they just, LIV comes to their client and they're like, "Oh, we got an unlimited budget. We want to give Bryson $200 million." Okay, and he gets a percentage of that. It's the easiest job on the planet to be an agent for a LIV tour player.
They're doing nice for themselves right now. That's for sure.
All right, fellas, moving on. As you guys mentioned earlier in the week, it is khaki season, quarter zip season with the PGA show going on right now. I believe today is the last day, typically. I think it's a Monday through Thursday event, usually with some demo day stuff on Monday. And then what do they always tout? 8 miles, 10 miles of golf products up and down at the Orange County. Before I get in, actually, let me ask you guys have kind of said that tongue in cheek a little bit. And if it's not for air, we can edit this out. But what was your guys' experience?
I'm so glad you asked this question.
Man, we're forgetting backpacks, by the way. We keep talking about khakis. Backpacks were a big deal too there.
Let's do a little TJ quickfire PGA show history here, because me and Pat, and listen, not trying to pee in anybody's Cheerios, we were thrilled to go to the PGA show for the first maybe 2 years. Thrilled, excited. Golf guys, like, wide-eyed. Oh my God, we're in golf heaven.
Yeah.
Totally get that. So if you've never been and you get the chance to go and you're a golf junkie, you should go. After 2 years, like, I think we did it 3 or 4. After 2 years, you're probably good. But there's some. It's a zoo. It is a literal zoo. Pat, let's think about some of our most memorable things or moments at the PGA show real quick. There's a strange, very strange section of the show, probably a full mile of the show, that they see that the organizers seemingly know is the weird AF section of the PGA show, and they put them all together, which I am grateful for, so that you can just know, like, hey, this block, it's like, what is it, like C block in Chicago or whatever? You don't go to C block in Chicago. You don't go to this section of the PGA show unless you want to get harassed. You want to get, approached, possibly pickpocketed, and forced to look at the dumbest golf shit available.
Yeah.
The dumbest. They put it all in the same section. The weirdest thing. Do you remember Pat, do you remember this is one of the weirdest things that stands out to me. Do you remember the golf? Was it a shoe? It was a shoe. A guy was trying to sell they're like the cart guys in the middle of a mall with like the helicopter things that are trying to get your attention. They literally grab your arm and tell you to come look at the toy they've got or whatever in the middle of the mall. It was a shoe. And the guy's like, but it's just no ordinary shoe. Look, let me tell you what it does. Look at what it does. You can put your tees in the side of it.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm not even kidding you. The guy had a booth at the PGA show where his tees, there were slots for 3 tees or whatever on each shoe. And I think maybe
now it's squares. and Nick Faldo is the.
It is unbelievable the garbage that goes that gets a booth at the PGA show, and it is all in one section, and you're just like, God, I mean, like the amount of energy this man is putting into this is awful. Pat, remember the first year we went to the Asian fellow in the really wild outfit that had the thing that you stood on and it like vibrated your whole body and it just shook you loose. And he had like banger like EDM music playing in his booth, and he was just inviting everybody to go up there and get their shake on. And so you would walk past that section. It's like, oh look, Peter Millar and TaylorMade and Malbon, and then you see like 4 guys in khakis and book bags, and the way it was facing, like they were facing the wall. So everything that everybody saw was just asses going like this on this guy's shake machine to loosen them up. I mean, it's just the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen.
There was, I mean, now
Paige Spiranac would get 1 million views if she did that.
Well,
oh yeah,
there are also plenty of paid talent, a lot of paid talent at the PGA show.
That's where I was about to go. Let's go on to the positives too. A lot of eye candy.
A lot. Yeah.
I believe also the coolest thing I thought was some of the extravagant setups that these bigger companies had. One, I think it was the first year, Travis Matthew, maybe they had these like 3 trailers, like, or 4, like set into like a square, and you like entered into it, and they had cocktails, they had bar giveaways, bar, girls every way. I mean, it was pretty cool. It was actually
pre-COVID. The PGA show was lit. Like actually in that year, that Travis Matthew booth, remember, dude, we walked up there and the whole front end of this was like a club entrance. It was like everything was blacked off, and they had like a red velvet ropes, and they had like 5 or 6 just absolute rockets at the entrance. Like literally almost like picking and choosing which dork got to come into the tent.
Yeah.
And you remember we got in there. This is maybe one of my more lubed up moments at the PGA show, because also at the PGA show, you get to see this on everybody's Instagram stories. You have cocktail hour on Wednesday and Thursday, I think. And all the brands, a lot of the brands will do free beer, wine, or cocktails or whatever, sponsored by something, come in, look around. And Travis Matthew was doing cocktail hour, and we had already visited a handful of cocktail hours. So we're in a good spot, and they were doing karaoke in the booth. And Pat, do you remember what I did?
Oh yes. I'm trying to think of which song you did.
I rapped California Love.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes. I rapped California Love in the Travis Matthew booth, drunk. So that was that.
Welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, it is a wild time. Then there's the nightlife stuff that goes on and all the but it's a lot of douchebags and assholes, and it is a lot of that, like just pretentious people. Anyway, we don't have to. What were you asking about it, Tony?
Yeah, where were we on this?
TaylorMade brought a tank one year, I think in like 2015, 2016.
We weren't there.
They brought a tank. Yeah, that was one of my first years on PGA Tour radio with Sirius XM, and that was the same exact thing you said. That was my first experience of like, whoa, there's just like this giant place where all these golf people gather. Like, this is awesome. And then the next year it was like, okay, it's kind of like the same thing. And then, for our channel, it was just, we would fill up, we had 8 segments a show, and we would fill up 8 segments with, a TaylorMade representative, a Callaway representative, tees and your shoes representative. And it's terrible radio. It was absolutely terrible content. And after that, I was like, this is just the worst week of the year, especially like I'm sitting in a studio booth in DC, and like everyone's down in Florida. It's the end of January in DC. It's snow on the ground, freezing cold, and everyone's out there. You just hear music in the background the whole time. So
I would say though, some definite fond memories would be with being on a radio show. And when DB, that we were very early on into
this. Our first time ever.
Yeah. And we got to be on ITR, and we're sitting there with Carl. I don't think Dennis was there when we did that one.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure who was.
No.
Yeah, he wasn't there, but Carl was there. And that was what I was about to say. The fact that we were with Rick Neuheisel, pretty big time, used to be college football coach, made a lot of money doing that. I mean, I know he's a big golf fan, but that was pretty interesting to me. Then the next year we were on, it was actually after Georgia had played in the national title game and lost. We were on with Taylor Zarzour, who I love in the industry. I just think he's great. So those were kind of cool for us to get on stage and be on XM with those guys early on in our adventures with CJ.
The one of the we met a lot of friends that we're actually still friends with today. The Swannies guys are one of them. I mean, our first year at the PGA show, our goal was, we had just started. Our goal was, let's just go and have some fun. Let's hand out some T-shirts. Let's tell people about what we're doing. See if we can get a sponsor or two out of it. So we walked around with book bags, but our book bags were full of T-shirts. We were literally just giving T-shirts away and trying to get attention. And the Swannies guys were doing the same thing. They were carrying around an inflatable swan. Yeah. And at the time, they were doing golf slide sandals. Like, that's what they were doing. It was the dumbest thing. That's all they were doing. Neither one of us had paid for a booth. We were both walking around like trying to hawk product. We were both young.
Bad Birdie was the same.
Bad Birdie was the same. We were all young guys doing the same thing. And now, like, those guys have huge booths. I'm excited to see Swannies has a huge booth today at the PGA show, which is fantastic. Obviously, we're doing a little better than we were back then. You get to see and meet people like that, which was awesome. One of my favorite bits that we did, Pat, because then we started going every year, and it was like, we're not going to pay for a booth, but we're going to get attention other ways. One of my favorite things we did, do you remember the golf swing shirt, guys?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So there was that training aid that you put over you, and it just held you like this, and you couldn't move your arms except like your wrists going like this. And we made friends with those guys. They were hilarious. They were like New York, New Jersey guys. They were just wild. They partied like crazy. We had a great time, hit it off with them. And so one year I just put on one of the shirts and grabbed my microphone, and Pat had the camera, and I walked around interviewing people at the show like this. And I'm asking them questions like this and in the swing shirt. And it was a blast. But we did a lot of like the man on the street kind of stuff where we just walked up to some dude in khakis. And that's how we know there's a lot of twat wafflery that goes on at the PGA show, because a lot of them we tried to talk to and they acted like they were just too important. But anyway, it's a wild time at the PGA show.
Yeah, well, to go along with that, there was a couple clothing deal announcements.
Yeah,
our sweet Prince, Siwoo Kim, like you said, Pat, there signed with Bad Birdie this week. Has a deal with him. Jay Lindbergh, I was going to make the U.S. Olympic apparel this year, which I get my clothes from Walmart and Target. So I'm not a huge Jay Lindbergh guy.
You're a hipster cocktail beard, Carhartt t-shirt, joggers guy.
This is a wifey present t-shirt. And I told her not to get I do not buy shirts over $20.
All right.
The fact that you guys offered me some free apparel from Swannies, I'm really looking forward to that stuff. I was like, this is awesome. These are clothes for like the next 2-3 years. I don't buy anything.
All right, I have takes on these news items here.
Okay.
Jay Lindenberg. I want to start there. There was a time when I was a younger man in my 20s where I loved Jay Lindenberg. When Jay Lindenberg came out on the scene, they came out with Camilo Villegas. And you had Camilo, who was this like sexy Latino. He had like hairless arms and massive biceps and veins everywhere. And he was wearing Jay Lindenberg, and I was like, God, that guy is cool. I bet he slays it. I want to look like that. And I wore Jay Lindenberg in my 20s. Some of the stuff they put on Victor Hovland in the last few years has been awful to look at. I kind of don't mind what they just came out with. I kind of don't mind it. Now, I will say this. Anymore, do I think it would look good on me? No, I don't. I think it looks best if your jawline can cut glass and you're a hairless, 3% or less body fat Nordic person. I think it looks a lot better on that person. If you're an athletic build golfer, I think it works. I kind of like it, but again, I like it to the point where, but I can't pull it off anymore. I can't wear that stuff anymore, but I do like it. Everybody on Twitter is like roasting it. I kind of think it looks good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is when I look at it, I'm kind of looking through it right now, but it just looks so for all the skinny people. And I'm just like, you know what? I can't wear that. So it kind of turns me off because I look at it, I'm like, and you better not be like a Patrick Reed and get on the team because there's no way you can get this. I mean, what are you going to do?
I just had a thought. I think a punishment for Pat losing a bet should be that he has to buy the full get up, pants, shirt, and it has to be a size too small, and he has to go play around in that. And we give him that.
Yeah, that would be. I actually
Daughters,
don't mind. I
daughters.
don't mind the varsity jacket. I don't know why. I kind of like it. Kind of like the varsity jacket thing.
Listen, if you're nobody like if you're 30 or 40 or 50, like a varsity jacket meant something back in the day. You know what I mean? Like so like I think they're tapping into that. You know,
Bring
maybe
up that sweater thing though. Bring that up.
maybe you had a jacket like that when you were in high school playing sports, or maybe you didn't have one, but you wanted one real bad. Now you kind of tap into it when you put your arms through the sleeves. I think they're tapping into some of that with that design. But
Yeah. The sweater though looks like it's like meant for a bigger person. It's like kind of baggy on the guy and it's just out of nowhere. It looks like it's from the 80s. That's the interesting one.
fun fact. So in the height of the Jay Lindenberg era in the early 2000s to like coming up to 2010, the day I caddied for Will Ferrell at Augusta in 2007, May of 2007, that was like peak Jay Lindenberg for me. Okay. I had like Jay Lindenberg, Camila Villegas, like white golf pants. They had just come out with golf shoes and their shoes were like $300 a pair. And when I walked up to the range, Will Ferrell had on a plain orange shirt, like he got from Goodwill, plain khaki pants, and the black and white Jay Lindenberg golf shoes. And when I walked up and I started talking to him and we were, just getting to know each other, I was like, Will, you got the Jay Lindenbergs? And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, your shoes. And he goes, oh yeah, these were given to me. I have no idea. I was like, those are like $300 golf shoes and they're fire. And he had no clue.
Yeah. Well, that's Will Ferrell for you. But there's a varsity jacket. That's the sweater I'm talking about.
I love that sweater. I love that sweater.
I don't know if I would wear that on the golf. As a matter of fact,
You wearing those glasses?
No. No, but if I lose the bet and we do this whole thing, I might have to just go wear those glasses and that sweater.
See that hoodie? I don't see the front of it, but I like the hoodie.
I don't mind the hoodie.
I don't like the thing on the right. I don't like that as much. Yeah. I don't think it's that bad. I just don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Siwoo to Bad Birdie is a fantastic thing for Bad Birdie. It's a fantastic thing for anybody. Any brand that gets Siwoo is a great thing. And both brands are fun. Siwoo's a blast. Bad Birdie's a blast. I think it's a perfect fit. The hype video they released was great. Him hitting driver off the deck. And the greatest thing about the video was the tattoo on his back, Siwoo him.
Yeah.
Was fantastic. Now, I obviously I don't believe that that's a real tattoo. They've obviously doctored that, but it would be cool if it was. Like, what if it actually was? What if
that would be pretty
so fantastic for both of them. I love the brand. They also just signed Harrison Endicott, the Australian. So that's cool for them. Two of my favorite things, Siwoo and great shirts like Bad Birdie. So
yeah. I mean, look, that's your thing, so I don't really have much comment on it. But I will say, I mean, Bad Birdie wears their stuff isn't exactly what I'm wearing on the golf course. It is. I have a few shirts, and they're comfortable. They fit well. Yeah. So they do make them not as if they're like for like a Lindenberg type person, body fit. I mean, you can be. I mean, you see the guys on Pardon My Take, at Barstool, they're wearing Bad Birdie every once in a while. They're not always always the best shape guys. So.
No. Yeah. And then as far as the Tiger thing and the TaylorMade brand, everybody's crapping on the logo, and I kind of get it. It looks kind of rough. I don't love it. The Sunday, was it Sunday Red? Is that the brand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do, however, I don't know why, but I kind of have an inherent trust that once stuff starts dropping, I kind of have this inherent trust that TaylorMade and Tiger are going to get it right. Now,
I think you're right.
I don't know why, because let's be honest, Tiger's not a cool guy. He's not. Like, inherently, he's not a cool dude. He's not, he's kind of nerdy. He's kind of, I mean, I know he has like these one-liners and he's done some things in the past that are funny, but every now and then it happens, right? I don't think he's a super fashion-forward, trendy guy. But I think Nike made him look great for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why, other than like maybe I'm guessing on him having gleaned a lot from decades with Nike. And yeah, his son is at an age where Charlie will freaking tell him. Like, I mean, my 13-year-old who's just like me, Collins, like used to always love everything that I put on. Used to think I was the coolest guy in the world. He turned 13 and he's like, Dad, what is that? I'm like, what are you talking about? What is that? Like, this is cool. This guy on tour is wearing. He's like, okay. No, like I kind of trust that Charlie, maybe JT, who's got a little bit of style in him, his best friend in the world, will help out a little bit. And TaylorMade is a good marketing company. Like they're you can say what you want about their gear. Some of it's good. Their golf balls are terrible, but they're a great marketing company.
Some would say that's all they are as a marketing
Some would say that's all they are. So I do kind of just blindly, inherently trust that they'll figure it out.
I agree. And also, why when we get a new logo, does it always feel like we got to immediately just hear like crap on it? Like, I don't know. I mean, I agree. I think they're going to get it right at some point. And sometimes a logo may look bad to start, but then it kind of ends up growing on you a little bit. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would love to be able to do some hilarious impression of Tiger picking out scripting his outfits, but I don't. The gum's not working enough at the moment. I really like it. Really like it. I don't know what else to. I mean, he wants the red. He wants red. I think I'll wear the red one, Thursday through Saturday. What do you think, Charlie? I don't know. Like I got nothing. But I do inherently just kind of trust them to figure it out, and that by the time stuff starts hitting, people are gonna go, okay, that's actually kind of cool. Yeah, I want it. I like it. I'll take it.
I mean, Nike was always known for kind of, some out there type of things, even with some of the golf shirts that Tiger would wear. But I never, it was just like, oh, okay, that sucks. And then it was moving. It wasn't really crap on it. So yeah, it's, hey, give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll see. I think obviously just the Tiger name, the Tiger brand.
Yeah.
There. Even at 40, 7, 8, whatever he is now, is still, if they get 5 years, 10 years out of just being able to push some of that stuff, there's going to be a lot of people who's going to buy it just because it's the Tiger name. So I think it'll be a worthy investment. But all right, fellas, moving on. Topic 3, we got the match 8, 9. We got another match coming up. This time we're going to have Rory and Max Homa with Lexi Thompson and Rose Zhang, and they're going to be playing in a skins format for the first time. So no teams, anything like that. 12 holes. We're going to have Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Trevor Immelman, Christina Kim, and Catherine Tappan will be on the call. We're also going to get contributions from Paul Bissonnette. Shout out, pardon my take. Guest on there, many time guest, as well as doing some great work, NHL on TNT, former hockey player. And I can't wait to hear from this. DJ Khaled will be on the call for the next match.
Let's go golfing. Let's golf. Is that what they're going to do on the first tee? Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, they got to have him like hyping up, getting the guys and gals out there, just like complete, hype video, doing what he does. Did you see the video a couple weeks ago of his son getting an award at school, and then he ran up to the front and like picked him up, just completely made it about him? He's got to do that on the first tee for this match. But Pat, we'll let DB take a little bit of a breather here, since I mentioned DJ Khaled. I think I knocked him out. We'll let you take this one first. Any excitement for these at all? Now that we're into the golf season, I feel like something like this is the perfect, November, December type of thing. Do it. It's just some golf on. No one really cares, that kind of thing. But now that we're into the golf season, what's your excitement level? Give me a 1 to 10 excitement level for the match 8 or 9.
It's like a 4, 3.5 to 4. I never have gotten too excited about any of these. I hope DB's okay, by the way. I know whenever you mention DJ Khaled, it's not good. But I mean, I think the foursome is okay. I mean, you got what we would call Beta Rory, Beta P Rory,
Soapy.
Snow P Rory. You got Max Homa, who has some, obviously some personality. Lexi Thompson has some personality. Rose Zhang has some personality, I think. Yeah, bringing into the ladies is probably a good thing. It's February is historically just a terrible time of the year for sports outside of where we really start to gear up in golf, after the Super Bowl is over and we get the Waste Management, which will, become Super Bowl weekend. But I'm just not very thrilled about it. I never watched these. I don't, during COVID, that was the one time.
Yeah.
We had one of these during COVID. And it was like the only thing we could talk about really, and people bet on it and all that kind of stuff. And that was kind of fun because I think Tiger played. But other than that, it just doesn't bring a whole lot of excitement. I don't care who the commentators are. I really don't. Christina Kim annoys me anyways. Sorry, Christine. I'm sure you're great. So anyway, DB, please wait. Somebody give DB some of that smelling stuff. I think he got knocked out.
I need to learn how to do AI and create one of those AI DJ Khaled's, and then we could have him host the show with DB. We could have him host one of these.
This could be topless Paige Sporanic and Tiffany Amber Thiessen. And if DJ Khaled is involved, I will not fucking watch it. I cannot believe we have to do this. Love and light. Let's go. Yeah. I freaking hate that guy. I hate him. I really do.
I can't wait for the content to come out of it. Like after that week, Tony, go ahead and mark it down. We're going to get a lot of clips from DJ Khaled, and we're just going to show him to DB and just get his reactions.
He is going to do everything he can to make it about himself. He's going to say dumb shit that nobody understands, and it's just low IQ BS. Then what's going to happen is I'm going to have to watch it because it's going to be content. And our boy who helps with social media, Alex, is going to be texting me, DB, do a video. DB, do a reaction. DB, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to do one, and I'm going to put it on TikTok. And every bro on TikTok under the age of 30 is going to absolutely nuclear bomb me in the comments. I'm going to get wrecked in the comment. They're going to call. I'm guarantee you right now. I'll bet my life this is what happens. Bet you're fun at parties, bro. Or cry left, bro. Or let the man be, man. Let him grow the game, bro. Or you boomer. Or all that's what's gonna happen. And it's just gonna be another fucking thing with DJ Khaled. I truly cannot believe. I don't believe that half of golf fandom enjoys DJ Khaled's content. There's no way, even half. There's just no way.
I don't know, but I'm glad he's on it now just for your reactions to it.
Aside from that, I think it's lame. I think the whole thing is lame. It's lame. It feels so contrived. It feels there's nothing really at stake. I don't think people care about Lexi and Rose Zhang. I think they're great golfers. I respect both of them. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And some of it, I think, could be the YouTube effect, right? Like people get to see YouTube personalities and these people that they actually enjoy and that can actually be funny on camera and can actually like say real stuff on camera, like Bob Does Sports or whatever. Like Max Homa is not going to be, I mean, he's a funny guy, but he's not allowed to really be himself. You know why? Because the PGA Tour will have their claws in the match, and they're going to make sure that one of their golden boys doesn't say this or that. But that's why these guys are better on YouTube, on these kind of channels. The best match was Tiger Phil. That was it. That was the match, was Tiger Phil.
Yeah.
And if you remember, there was money on the line, and it was supposedly their own money. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But those two guys had enough cachet; they could say whatever the hell they wanted to say.
Yeah,
and it was entertaining.
It wasn't. Yeah, I agree.
The rest of this, it's just so lame. And I agree with Pat. I think if it were not in the middle of golf season, maybe just because like I just want to scratch the itch and watch some golf, and maybe I could fire a couple bets on it and just lose money stupidly. But now you're gonna make me watch DJ Khaled with it as well? No.
Do you guys do a voice and impression of me when you're talking to Andy?
We're talking to who?
When you're talking to your social media guy, Andy?
Alex.
Alex?
No.
Say, you guys made him sound super there. I say, man, I wonder what's DB's impression of me when he's talking to.
That was actually a decent, even though it was kind of a half-ass one. It was a decent impression of Alex.
No, Alex is way more bossy than you are, and he's always like super. He's a data nerd. He knows everything. So he's like, so I just put it like data nerd by day, like that's his real job, like data analysis guy, and he's just like he just kind of talks down to us all the time. So that's how I imitate someone talking down to.
And the bros impression, the TikTok bros impression,
dude,
sounded like the Principal Mackey from South Park. That was good too.
It will happen for sure though.
I am telling you, when I make that video, just go to the comment. It will be like you just wouldn't believe it. And it is the same thing on Instagram, but to a lesser extent. It's kind of funny. Like TikTok, that it's way worse. But anyway, that's enough of that. I can't believe.
Anyway,
Maybe
DB, you mentioned,
and I don't have to watch it.
You mentioned guys letting loose on YouTube with some of these bigger YouTube names. Rory McIlroy did a video with Micah Morris the other day. That just goes in line with Tommy Ladd, again, your boy. He did one with Grant Horvat the other day. A few weeks ago, Tiger had his with Foreplay. So along those lines, I wanted to ask you guys, seems like your feelings are known there. Those guys can release or relax a little bit better on platforms like that, kind of show their true personality. But I wanted to ask you guys, who is your white whale when it comes to whether it's just an interview, content, a video that you guys would like to make? Would you like to go play around with, hey, Pat, Fred Couples, record it, ask him some questions, that kind of thing? Who's the white whale for you guys when it is, and a kind of white whale piece of content to make?
Well, I mean, white whale. I don't mean this, by the way. Just take out the white whale part when I say this.
Is it Lisa Ann, Pat?
No. And take out the fact that this person isn't necessarily that relevant in the bigger scheme of the PGA Tour right now.
James.
But I think, and he's not a white whale because we've actually interviewed him before. I think Boo Weekley would be amazing to go play golf with and do content with. I mean, if you just saw the little video that the Championship Tour did with him when he was first getting on, this was last summer. I mean, I think, and I would want it to be like Boo Weekley and friends, and not like his friends from Milton, Florida, where he lives, but like Boo Weekley and like some tour friends that he had, whether it's guys, they're on tour now or whoever he's playing with. I think it would be a lot of fun to do something with Boo Weekley. It'd be easy content in my mind.
That is such a great poll, and I didn't even think about it. But you're right, Pat. Like he is so dang funny. I think if we did some sort of golf, like playing golf mic'd up like they do on Foreplay or whatever, I think Boo would be absolutely hysterical. That would be great content. We've talked about it before. I mean, Siwoo's obviously a white whale, but I think there would be a little bit. I don't know. Like, I don't know that it would be as entertaining as the Boo Weekley thing would be. It would be good, but it may not be as entertaining as Boo Weekley. Tiffany Amber Thiessen comes to mind for me. I'd love to maybe play golf and cook a cake together, bake a cake together. Maybe
she just turned 50, man. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
And did you see that picture?
Yes, I did.
Tiffany at 50. Woo! My goodness.
That would be fun. The only other one I thought about was Terrell Hatton. I think Hatton would be a lot of fun to play some golf with and kind of get him mic'd up and loose and having a good time. I think that could be a lot of fun. I think people are missing out on that.
Yeah.
I like guys like Bryson, who's kind of he's cheesy, he's corny, something like that. I don't know. I just think it would be cool to sit there and pick his brain a little bit. And then a little bit of a throwback, at least for me, would be somebody like an Anthony Kim.
Yeah.
With just the stories, as far as great golfer, the gambling aspect of it, the betting aspect, and then, the party aspect of it as
In
well.
that vein, Tommy Gainey would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Tommy
I will say this: if we got Anthony Kim, it would be a white whale, because we would be the first ones to do some major content with him in years. It would certainly take off. So I would happily do that. It'd be awesome.
I'd love to play, and everybody's going to be like, "Go DB, why don't you get his cock out of your mouth?" I'd love to play with Pat McAfee and the gang and all that. They look like they have a lot of fun playing golf. They've got the bug right now. It'd be fun to play with those boys. But yeah, I think Hatton, Boo Weekly, boy, that'd be a fantastic. Those two playing together would be a lot of fun.
That would be.
Neither one of them would understand each other at all.
I could see Boo saying, "What'd you say?"
That boy fucking hole. And Boo be like, "Where fox chasing the hounds up there, boy." Them two boys, that would actually be a lot of fun. You make that happen, that could be a lot of fun.
Jeez, I could just see during the round, Boo pulls out a fishing rod on one hole and just all of a sudden catches like a 5-pound bass like it's nothing. Then moves on, hits a 7-iron to 4 feet and makes birdie.
Hey, Terrell, you go ahead and play this hole. I'm just going to cast out here real quick.
Oh, goodness. Good show. Thank you, Tony, for putting together a good rundown here. Went a little long, but yeah, we had some fun with the PGA show. That's always a good time. We will have a name by next Thursday. We may have a name. You know what? By the time this gets posted, there might be a name. There might be a name by the time it gets posted. I don't know, but there could be. I think we're too close. We got to make a decision, boys. We just got to piss or get off the pot. But for sure, by next week, we'll have a name. All right? That's it for the currently No Name Golf Show, unless you do see a name on the show when it's posted, but that's how we do things here. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. May your screens be green, bend over your bookies and all that. See ya.